topic initially as just gender in climate crisis, but I think talking about the role of gender is a much suitable thing right now because we already know how climate crisis affects gender disproportionately across the world. But it's high time that the different gender roles realize how it affects them and also how to work towards combating the climate crisis, which is why we also have a male panelist on our session today, Kamal Nayak. So I would like to ask Kamal Nayak to go first. If you can just introduce yourself and then talk about your experience and how the male gender plays into this whole scenario. And then I please request all of you to take it up one after the other because I'm just about to enter another conference. And sorry about this last minute change. Uh, Kamal, are you good to go?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll keep my camera off because I'm in my community today. So there's a little bit of lighting issues. So hope that is okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is Kamal and I'm the founder of an organization called Good Universe. And Good Universe is working at the intersection of women's health and climate change in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and Assam. Apart from that, I'm a former UN SDSN fellow, also part of Global SAPER, which is an initiative of World Economic Forum. So working from last 6 years in the space, supporting and working with women, my experience around that how climate change is affecting or affecting us, or in terms of from the gender lens that how we are addressing. I'll talk a little bit about my work or my intervention. At the same time, I'll talk about my understanding and observation from the ground. So if we are going to be honest, the climate change disproportionately affects women, right? Women are more likely to live in poverty and face food security, especially as the climate change makes the world hotter and drier, right? In fact, the World Bank estimated that climate change will cost women an additional $500 billion in lost income by 2030. So women are likely to be affected by climate change because they are more likely to live in a poverty, which means they have less access to resources like clean water. They also tend to do the majority of unpaid care work like cooking, cleaning, and caring for children and elderly family members. And this care work often happens in home where air quality is poor due to use of firewood or for cooking and also heating. So if I'll give some example of my grassroots level of engagement in Telangana, communities or slums, or in that case Odisha, because I come from Odisha. Most of the household use firewood despite having gas connection. Again, it can be a behavioral issue, or if I'll dig deep into it, it's a financial issue too. So most of the time they gather wood and use it for firework. Women also spend more time outside than men because they're doing tasks like fetching water or gathering firewoods. So these outdoor activities expose women to more air pollution and heat stress than men. Right. And in addition to being more vulnerable than men in general, women are, or maybe pregnant women are more vulnerable to it. Having young children, are at even greater risk of health problem due to climate change. Pregnant women are more likely than non-pregnant women to suffer from heat stress or dehydration because their body requires more water during this time. If pregnant women became dehydrated during hot weather, they may give birth prematurely or have babies who are underweight at birth. Infants' brain are like not fully developed until after birth. So we are working at Good Universe in 3 different construction site with the labor community and closely working with pregnant women. And currently we're working with 10 pregnant women in this 3 location. They live in the tin house, they're made of tin and which absorb more heat. Sometimes 1 table fan or no fan at their house, right? And they collect leftover wood or cardboard and even plastic from the construction sites and light it to cook. And they are exposed to heat again and smoke that actually affect them, whether in terms of pollution or in terms of heat. So coming to our intervention in sexual reproductive health and right, and realizing sexual reproductive health and right is crucial for climate justice, for strengthening resilience, and for supporting the adaptive capacity of marginalized people and communities who are already experiencing the impact of climate change, including loss and damage. So we are working in sustainable menstrual hygiene practices, and also we are working pregnancy care, contraception, and educating about pregnancy. So sexual reproductive health again should be as a key component of environmental, climate change, and disaster risk reduction policies and programs to ensure their success and support the achievement of gender equality and the fulfillment of the right to health. You know? So I would say that a human right-based approach to climate action includes ensuring universal access to full range of sexual reproductive health is needed. So climate resilient health systems are more likely to support and ensure sexual and reproductive health services in times of crisis or disaster. Or to advance sexual reproductive health, gender equality intervention must address the structural barriers embedded in norms, laws, policies that contribute to inequalities and injustice. This must happen beyond the healthcare sector, including when we are doing climate policies. So, when women struggle to access menstrual hygiene product across the country, and it's a global issue, they're more likely to be in poverty and suffer from depressions. So I come from Odisha, and every single year we hit by flood, and I understand that how critical the issue and what we go through while having floods or cyclone. So when floods occurs, the issue became even more pronounced, right? Flood can make it difficult for people to access clean water and sanitation facilities, which can lead to serious consequences like diarrhea and thyroid. But they also disrupt menstrual hygiene management or hygiene in other perspective, making it harder for women to manage their period. So in Odisha, where flooding is common, some women have reportedly using dirty water during their period, or even going without sanitary pads during their menstrual cycle due to lack of access during flood. In addition, many families have no choice but to use dirty water for cleaning up after floods because there is simply no other option available for them at this time. So these are few interventions we are doing at grassroots level, and we try to create awareness. We try to make them ready before any disaster happens. We also talk about processes that how they can manage with the cloths, or how they can dry it properly. If not, then we also make them prepare for the disaster. Um, so and also these are our intervention when I'm talking in respect to women or adolescent girls, but when we are addressing climate crisis and the gender role, I think I should definitely address the LGBTQI community, right? And we mostly don't talk about it, right? The LGBTQI plus communities, no exception of climate crisis or impact. As a group, they have been historically marginalized and excluded from political and social discourse, which has only exacerbated the challenges they face, as their voices is not being considered in the context of environmental issues, right? So we work largely only in Telangana with LGBTQI community, providing them education, right source, right skills, and connect to the corporate to get them a sustainable job. But it's being very hard to understand. They have never been heard, or when we design our policy or programs, we never. I never came across where we are doing a consultation with them. The lack of attention to these issues has led to higher rates of mental health problems. Because we also run a counseling center. We know that how many people every month seek our help to get counseling, even substance uses, and suicide among members at LGBTQI plus community. In addition to these issues being linked to climate change, there are also concern about how climate change could affect people to access to the hormones, to the medicine, and other method used for transitioning gender identities, right? So if I can say my parting word, the last word, we should commit to mainstreaming gender and sexual and reproductive health in national policies, programs, budgets related to climate change, and disaster risks reduction. To commit to engaging girls, women, and other gender in all their intersecting identities, and youth and women-led organization in the design, development, implementation, and monitoring of right-based policy and program. Integrating sexual reproductive health is very, very crucial to address these issues. Yeah, that's all from my end, and I'm open for the question, or I'm looking forward to listen to the all speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable information. Now I request you to Mrs. Padmavati Madam Garu. Please come on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Padmavati Kopla. I'm representing Aranya Agriculture Alternatives, working with the community since last 2 decades, 3 decades, I can say. So my personal experience speaks about 3 decades. So especially coming to the gender is like woman gender and male gender. Both the genders will get affected due to the climate change. Especially women will get affected more comparatively with the men. So this one, when I'm working with the communities in the rural areas, especially in the agriculture sector and then natural resource management, like if I'm working with this since last 3 decades, but if I observe two decades back, maybe 25 years back, I can see the problem is the malnutrition. malnutrition is the biggest problem. That time natural resources like pollution and then water pollution and then food insecurity is there, but there is a diversity of food is available with the safe food is available that time. But there is other infrastructure facilities and other things are lacking. Now within the 2 decades, which I can see is like there is a more problems due to the climate change, due to the erratical rainfall patterns in the agriculture sector is giving a more impact. The farmers are getting experience. So if I give the examples of working with the women in Sangareddy districts where I am working with the women, the problem is like there is earlier the entire food is coming from their farms. Now the food, because of the cropping system, has been changed due to the climate change, because whatever the food crops which they are growing, now they are not able to grow because of the needs and because of the climate change, because sometimes all the food crops are required 6 to 9 months of the rainy season, but it is not happening. Maybe rainfall is the same, but rainfall pattern has been changed. Due to that, they could not go for the diversified cropping systems also. That is one of the. Another thing is whatever the crops which they are growing, it is going into the monocropping systems. So monocropping systems and lacking of again when the crop system changed, then their agriculture, your animal integration is not there. So when these two are not there, one is the diversity is not there, another one is animal integration is not there. So you can just think about the food security in their families. The food security is what kind of food which we are talking about. Food and nutritional security. The food is coming from the farms which they are growing with chemically being used. More of the agriculture pesticides and fertilizers are being used in the production systems. So when you eat the same produce by the women and then in children or whoever it may be, but how it is getting affected, especially with the women. So women is the next generations, of the population is the key, because if your woman is not safe, or if your woman is not healthy, the generation which they are producing, the children, the younger generation, they are not healthy enough. Like you can see now in every 10 out of 1 woman is, because of the anemia, they are going for the more supplementation, and then sometimes I can see more health problems, where if you just start working with very closely with the women, then I can see many of the children, they are having holes in the heart. So most of the women, they are having thyroid issues. So these are the few indicators we can just feel it. Even thyroid is the major issue women are facing now. So all this belongs to the food what you are eating, the kind of soil what it is. So because if once the soil health is degrading, why it is degrading is the trees are not there, perennial systems are there, diversity is not there. Because of that, the problem in the production system, we could clearly see that what is happening. So the same food when we are consuming of the women, which they are carrying when they are during the pregnancy period. So if you see the nutrition levels, if you eat the nutritious food, then your food is 1 banana or 1 fruit is enough. The same nutrients, if you want to get in the current scenario, you have to eat double. So your capacity, it means it is working, your system has to work very hard to take so much of food. So then your kind of work. So whatever the food which is being eaten by us, we are not people are not able to deliver in the fields. So they are getting tired, they could not work much. So that is also resulting in the agriculture sector. And also due to the increase in temperatures, they are not able to work long hours of the time. That is also resulting in the production systems. And also income, if you see, income is also due to the erratic rainfall or extreme rainfalls, whatever it is happening due to the climate change. So I could see when I'm working in the Kurnool districts in Rayalaseema area of Andhra Pradesh, there I could see very clearly when there is no rainfall, there is a huge migration happens. Like they have to go for the urbanization. When they move to the urbanization, they have a problems of living, and then water, what is the pollution, whatever the uh, uh, breathing of the air is the pollution, eating of the food is the toxic. So everything with not the safe, like, and safe resources we don't have, because that entire production system is getting affected. I don't know how these things will get addressed. The kind of awareness is required. And also, like, I can see the time spending for the getting the water and then using the limited water when the drought happens in Kurnool. I could clearly see that the water, if you want to get the water from one village, and you have to bring the water with the tankers. So with the tankers, people has to spend time in the queue to get the water. So the time they are spending for that to fetch the water is much more than what they are, the same amount of time they used to spend for the production systems. So the food is also getting affected because they are not able to produce so much what is there to meet their requirements. So this is also happening. So there are many things. Are climate is not just only the women. It is like it's more affecting on the women. At the same time, when adults and girls, old age people, every person is getting affected by the climate change. So these reasons are many, but how we are going to solve these problems is the some of the, like, we need to give so much of awareness to the people how we are going to create microclimates, like with the tree based systems, so that can maybe bring little bit of change. So one is the diversity, I can say, another one is the tree based farming systems, I can say, and then soil health is another thing which we need to work on these things to mitigate, or not, I don't say mitigate, at least management of these climate change issues. Like especially in the summers, it's like extreme temperatures are happening, and whatever the soil life is there in the soil, it is also getting affected. And also again, it is affecting on the food systems. And then coming to the water also, like, we are not able to have a safe drinking water. If you don't, like, our body belongs to the all 5 elements. In the 5 elements, we can see that water is pollution, food is toxin, and then what there, even fire. In the fire accidents are more. All these things are getting affected. I don't know how these things are going to affect more and more. So that is where we are really experiencing different issues on the production systems of the agriculture, even reproductive systems of the women, and then children, problems of small neonatal problems are also much more now. So because of these things, because of why it is happening, this air pollution, maybe water pollution, all other things are also getting affected by these generations. So now, like, what I'll say is, I'm just giving the education of the different people. Now we are in the climate emergency. Unless until if you don't rehabilitate our nature, unless until we don't take care of our wherever we are living, our planet Earth, so it is going to be a chaos. So how we are going to address these issues? So as a family, like, how we take care of the family without getting any negative effects of that, like custodians, how we take care of the family. Similarly, we have to take care of the, wherever we are in the planet Earth, we have to take care of that piece of the place. So that is more important. So then once you take care of that, the place wherever you are, then we start rehabilitating. So unless until if you don't address these issues, the problems is going to be bigger and bigger. So livelihoods also getting affected due to the migration issues, due to the different like infrastructure facilities. All these things are got caused climate change is also again, what is the reasons behind it? So people, the kind of practices, how consciously we have to live with the nature. So as much as possible, we have to live with the nature. We have to close to nature. Then we know about how the nature is responding. We are not connected to the nature. That's the biggest problem which we are facing. And also I could see many of them, those who are living in the tribal areas, they are more safer than the living in urban areas. Though they might not have the infrastructure facilities, but other logistical facilities, they are the best. They're feeling better than those who are living in the cities. So like I can see when I'm working in the Adilabad tribals. So just they're living in the forest. The forest is providing healthy air, healthy water, good water, fresh water, safe food. These three elements are making them to healthy, though they don't have the infrastructure facilities. Similarly, we have all the infrastructure facilities at the cities, but how we are facing the many health issues. And also kind of physical work which we need to do. Like whatever the energy which you are taking, we need to spend the energy for that particular purpose. So these things are especially in the adolescent girls, the kind of education which we need to give is they have to be conscious about their health, their education in the sense of the consciousness about the nature, how they can mitigate the future scenarios, because they have to get mentally prepared to face the problems of that. As a parents, we have to do how I'm going to provide fresh air, fresh water, fresh food, safe food. I'm not saying fresh, maybe safe water, safe food, safe environment, which I can create for my future generations. As a parents, we have to think like that. Then we start doing the actions are required to create that kind of atmosphere. At least we are, some extent we are able to live in the good environment. So this is what I'm giving message to the many people. So money, we can earn the money, but we cannot create this kind of environment within a time period. So that's where we have to start. We have to working on it. And also the food. So chemical free food, safe food, how much we are able to work. And also instead of buying from the market, start working with the farmers. And also we need to have a consumers and farmers have a good relations. What a consumer is required, especially a pregnant woman is required, what kind of food pregnant woman can take, how it has been grown. This is where very, very important. Even government also, like when I'm just talking with rice farmers in Nagarjuna Sagar project area. So what they said was, because the rice, when during the milling time, they are adding the micronutrients and they are supplying the rice for supplementation. Why these things are happening? Because the soil is not holding that nutrients. Why the soil is not holding the nutrients? The kind of practices which man or woman is practicing. So that is leading that. How we can bring the diversity in the food systems? So that is a crucial thing. So we have to be conscious about that. And another thing is the production systems and the consumer systems, how we can bring the diversity. So instead of nature is giving abundance of food, but we need to have that kind of education to have a safe food. So this is what lacking in the current scenario. And also the education system also, like how to produce food. This is the one kind of education we need to give for all the younger generation. Maybe it's like for the children, I can say, especially for the girls is very much important, because always we don't give that kind of orientation in the education system. The food, importance of the food, how it has been grown. So unless until if we don't give that kind of education to the children in the future climate change scenarios, so it is becoming difficult for the children, younger generation. So that's where even my daughter is like teaching in different schools with the nature, how the children can come to the nature, how they can connect to the nature. Children means like both the children, like male and female children. So if we start restoring of the nature, then future generations have a chance to work on it they can get access to the healthy food, diversified food, and safe water, and then safe fresh air. So that's where all the city people were searching for the lung space. Lung space in the cities is not available. Only in the nature, if you come out from the cities or whoever it may be, wherever it may be. If we start living in the nature will start treating everything, and we have to rehabilitate our planet Earth. This is what my message to all the women. We have to have a good resource. We need to create a good resource for your future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Padma Garu. It is coming from your grassroots level experience. Now I request Nagalakshmi Garu, who is also leading an FPO. I request her to speak.
Namaste, everyone. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, is it audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
madam.
clear, madam. Please continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Sai Bhaskar Garu. I am Nagalakshmi, working as a CEO, Prerna NGO. Prerna is working in the coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh, Prakasham, Nellore, and Bapatla. We are mainly dealing with the farmers with dry land as well as the wetland farmers. For the last 20 years, I am in the development sector. I'm a master of social work and bachelor of law, working with the different government departments. Now I am completely engaged with an NGO. So Aladesh Shadan asked me to talk about the role of the gender in the crisis issues. So role of the gender means it. The first point we have to understand that why gender matters in climate crisis. Why? And why? Because the crisis occurred due to climate change. It not only affects a particular part of the humans, it may be affects all, which includes men, women, and children. And the example is, it may be affects somebody in the wetland, agricultural products. It may be affects someone who are raising livestock in the dryland agriculture. So we have to mainly concentrate who are affecting and why they are affecting, in what way they are affecting. So and why I am not going to the subject, because already these previous speakers discuss a lot about the women problems and women issues, how they cope up with the problems in the crisis. So and I would like to conclude that why gender means most of the time we will think about the woman. Why? Because we think about women in gender. So most maximum about 50% of the population are the women. So obviously we think gender means woman. So if a woman faces the problems, or woman works in the development, it definitely contribute to the society in a whole. So why women gender equal? Why we have to think women particularly gender crisis, or climate crisis? And I may think 5 points I would like to explain. I would like to share with the panel. The first point is more than what I previously said, that 50% of the human is more than the population of the women. So it is critical. Women and girls. Second, if women are contributed wholly in the whole process, right from the planning, implementation to address the policies, everything, it may be help the community, because the traditionally women are the more knowledgeable how to cope up with the all the crisis. Maybe it may be crisis at home, crisis at a community, it's a crisis at the whole. Sometimes we can say so many examples when crisis occurs. Women are the most vulnerable. Maybe affects their food, or food security, or shelter, or education, health. Everything is affects mainly to the woman, because it's a physically weakened sections, and sometimes it women sometimes woman's ill health also affects the total family. So because I'm not fully concentrating. So it's a woman, more than half of the population, addressing the community and involving in the problems and involving the sharing the resources and involving the development process. It helps the community. So woman development or woman involvement is say the development. It's particularly crisis times also. Second point, it may be that empower women means effective climate solutions, because we know that, for example, we will take the agriculture development. Most of the works done by the women only, compared to the men, but where the decision making by the women, but the implementation taken by the women, because we have to empower the women farmers, means that we can address the some dissolve the some crisis also. Like men will take the decision of using more and more fertilizers, or more using the water for which more than necessity. They will decide the destroying the climate. Some of the decision by the men. But if the right education or right decision power given to the woman, they may think that they may go to reduce the harmful fertilizers, and it may be reduce the health, and it may larger way it helps the climate also. So we think in the why and the next point, why women have to give more emphasis means, women, if one woman would teach, they may teach to entire family. We know that. So in that way also, it come to involve the woman more, woman development and addressing the woman is more important to have her part in the changes. So it may be addressed through involving the women in capacity building. And if we want the right source as justified problems or solutions in crisis times, or crisis may be because of climate changes also. We have to include the capacity building more to the women, apart along with the men. But I will say another point, we have to give capacity building the men, apart more men to the more than the women, because I have some examples while we are giving the trainings. We are in one village, we are doing some action plan. There is an coastal area, there is a severe cyclone. Some budget were allocated for that community. We are sitting with the fisherman community. Women are saying that we need water, because if we are not have the good water or a drinkable water, we are not able to cook even dal for our children. But men are more confident. We need in a community hall or shelter. So these are the different needs where the priority the community and disputes from the in that particular community. So if we both are equally addressed and capacitated, they may take in the right decision to cope up with the climate crisis. So knowledge management and communication also we have to develop in the both the men and women, everything, because nowadays crisis may not particularly hit some portion of the community or some portion of the gender. So we have to talk both men and women in each and every stage. But we are not miss that women may not address that particular point right from the planning and implementation and monitoring, and influence the policies in the process of policies also. So it's a particularly this is the current burning topic, climate crisis. So in this also, because women are the more knowledgeable, more passionable, and they are the more committed, and all the effects by and large affects the woman itself, because she's the mother, she is the wife, she is the girl. So women, I'm saying at large, we have to focus men and women at large, not like gender means it's a men and women, of course, but we are not talk less, not talking with the women. I am not advising, because in one meeting I have seen we are having in the same gender training in a training session. It's the time come up to 4 or 5 at the evening, but so all of the sudden when husband came and beat the woman, we are teaching a woman the equality, gender balance, everything, but all of the sudden her husband came, one of the participant husband came and beat her. Because on that time, it is 20 years back, I realized that there is more. We have to train the men, on gender on woman sensitivity, woman involvement, woman development, and the role of woman and the importance of women in all the stages. So in every planning stages, in every programs, particularly the current topic, climate crisis, we have to address men. Why we have to involve the women. This only point I would like to highlight it this, by listening all the three men, the experts in the panel. No need to go to the women and gender and needs. So the only point I would like to highlight through this panel and this meeting, there is a lot of need to sensitize the women on the importance of women and the role of women, the development of the. If we want a development community, if we want a better community, so we want a better addressing the better climate change issues or policies. There is a lot of need to emphasize sensitize the men than women. Then women will definitely come to the table and they will definitely participate in the development sector. With this point, I am concluding myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your valuable information. NGO experience with next expenditure. Now I invite Dr. Sridevi, madam, please speak on the topic.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all the experts of today's panel. I'm Dr. Sridevi, Assistant Professor of Zoology from Government Degree College, Hyderabad. I recently came to know about today's program. Actually, I am not prepared and I am not aware about it, but I want to take part in this meeting. So previous speakers have shared their knowledge about the role of gender in climate. So here I want to share something about my experiences. So gender is women can play a greater role in protecting environment and nature by maintaining farming lands and caring for nature and environment. Women recycling, reusing, and composting, reducing the electricity usage and avoiding toxic chemicals, and also using organic manure for the crop development. So we need to educate women as an educationalist or as a teacher. I can do one thing, that we can create awareness among the students about the environmental crisis and climate change, how it is disturbing day by day, how the ecological balance is disrupted by human activities. right? So nowadays, the discrimination, gender discrimination, we have to eradicate gender discrimination first. Why? Because women as a whole, she can do whatever the work we can give to her, she can do in a balanced manner. For example, as a mother, as a home manager, as a administrator, she can do in a balanced manner when compared to men, actually. So the educated women make more productive agricultural plots and can be more effective stewards of food, soil, trees, and water as the climate changes, the balance of carbon and water cycle. In the developing world, women are often the main custodians of these resources. They are seed savers, protect and cultivate and use these resources in their daily life. Further, they are the guardians of the nature. Why? Because as a mother, mother first teacher for every child, right? Mother is the first teacher for child. So she has to say about the nature to her children first, so that nature and environment and climate and global warming, so that save our nature, how to save our water, how to save our environment. So they will think about their role in sustainable development of the nature. So as a mother we can do, and also as a teachers, as leaders, whatever the position we are having, we can do our best to balance in the nature. Nowadays, what is happening, what are our observations means, everybody is destroying the natural resources for their self benefits, like self benefits. Like they are running towards the money. They are looking at money only. They are not looking about the future generations. What we are doing, what is happening, what is the disturbance. And how impact on these things. Nowadays, people are not thinking about all these things, so they are doing their own beneficial things. They're not looking or not thinking about all these things. So my suggestion is conduct awareness programs, more awareness programs about the environment and climate change, and also in syllabus also they have to mention all these things, so that from the beginning, from the school age, the children should know about the problem of the environment and natural resources, how they are getting lost by human activities. So this is about my opinion, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your information.
Thank you, sir.
Actually,
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
yeah, madam. Please speak, Madam is unavailable now. ఇందాక ఇందులో జరిగిన విన్నాము. మహిళలు పర్యావరణం crisis గురించి మహిళలు అంటే ప్రకృతి ప్రకృతిలో సమానంగా ఉండేటువంటి మహిళలు సృష్టికి జీవం పోస్తున్నారు. అదేవిధంగా ఇంటిని ఏ విధంగా వాళ్ళు సక్రమంగా అంటే ఉన్న దాంట్లో ఏ విధంగా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకుంటూ కాపాడుకుంటారు. అదేవిధంగా వాతావరణంలో కూడా వారి పాత్ర అదే. ఎందుకంటే మనం చాలా విషయాలు మాట్లాడుతున్నాం, ఫుడ్ గురించి, హెల్త్ గురించి, ఎడ్యుకేషన్ గురించి, అదేవిధంగా ఏ విధంగా వెటికేట్ చేయాలనేది, ఆర్గానిక్ ఫార్మింగ్, అగ్రికల్చర్లో ఒక పాత్ర ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, 50% ఆఫ్ అండ్ జెండర్ డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ అండ్ ఇలా చాలా విషయాలు డిస్కస్ చేశాను. ఇందులో భాగంగా వీటన్నిటిలో కీలక పాత్ర పోషించేది మహిళలు. సో 50% ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ మహిళలు ఉన్నప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి కంపల్సరీ వీటి మీద అవగాహన అనేది ఉండాలి, ఉంటుంది. కాకపోతే దీన్ని ఈ పర్యావరణ రహితమైన అవగాహన మార్చడంలో మన పాత్ర ఏంటనేది మనం ఆలోచించుకోవాలి. ఆల్రెడీ వాళ్ళు చేస్తూనే ఉంటారు, కాకపోతే దీనికి సపరేట్ పేరు అంటూ వాళ్ళు ఏం పెట్టుకోలేదు. ఇది ఇందులో వస్తుందని వాళ్ళు కేటగిరైజ్ చేసుకోలేదు. ఫర్ సపోజ్ మన ఇంటికి ఒక రోజు సడన్గా చుట్టాలు వచ్చారనుకోండి, మనం ఏం చేస్తాము, ఒక అమ్మగారు ఏం చేస్తారు, ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరికీ ఉన్న అన్నాన్ని సర్ది పెడుతుంది. అదే ఆ విధంగా మనం అడాప్టేషన్ అనేది, మిటిగేషన్ అనేది ఆ విధంగా తగ్గించుకుంటూ వెళ్తారు. సపోజ్ రాజలక్ష్మి మేడం గారు చెప్పారు, అనంతపురంలో ఒక బిందెతోని ఒక బిందెతోని ఒక రోజు గడిపేస్తున్నారు. ఒక బిందె నీళ్ళతోని ఒక రోజు కుటుంబం మొత్తం గడిపేస్తున్నారు. అలాంటి మిటిగేషన్, అడాప్టేషన్ ప్రాసెస్, రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ కన్జ్యూమర్ కలిగిన వారు మహిళలు మాత్రం. అలాంటి మహిళల మీద వాళ్ళ క్లైమేట్లో వాళ్ళ యొక్క పాత్రని ఈరోజు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసినందుకు థ్యాంక్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ పార్టిసిపేషన్ ఇన్ దిస్ వండర్ఫుల్ webinar. Now I am closing this webinar.